The luxury SUV market is where all the action is right now. People are falling over themselves to get into cars just like these. The under $80,000 category this year is a new one, so there's no reigning champion. But a lot of people would be familiar with cars like the Volvo Xc60 and the Audi Q5. But this little guy, the Audi Q2, is the real wild card. Touches like the sliding rear seat and logical interior help give the Q5 some real cred as a family SUV. It's right up to speed in terms of its connectivity too, and the user interface is especially logical, just as you would expect of Audi. The driveline is a sweetie too, with a turbo diesel engine that is about as good as it gets.
The first generation Audi Q5 is one of the best-selling cars of its type in the world. The second generation car builds on that with more tech, different styling, and plenty of driver appeal.
But ergonomic or not, the rear seat space is a bit limited, and our track testing revealed an ESP calibration that is so severe it could actually scare people into a crash. Which is odd because the Q5's stablemate, the Q2, has ESP that is super friendly.
The Q2 was a surprisingly fun little car to drive. It's not quite the full family-sized SUV, but it does have all the hallmarks you expect from a luxury brand like Audi, including a fairly hefty price tag.
And although it's a full size smaller, there's no shortage of cool factor with the Q2. Aimed at the suburbanites out there, it looks premium and it feels luxury. So can anybody tell us why the Audi Q2 doesn't get the latest virtual cockpit technology that's already in other models from the same brand? And the more you examine the interior space, the harder that price tag is to justify. The luxury SUV market in this country is increasingly diversified and fragmented, so it was interesting that a traditional SUV, the Volvo Xc60, was good enough to take home the prize. The Volvo Xc60 is the car that proves you don't have to reinvent the wheel, or in this case, the SUV. When you look at the sales figures and what's happening in the luxury SUV market, you can see why the manufacturers around the world are taking a very close personal interest in it. It's bred all sorts of interpretations of what a luxury SUV should be. This car bucks that trend a little bit because it is conventional and traditional, and yet it still raises the bar. Pretty good trick, huh? How's it done it? Well, in quite a few areas. The first of those is the suspension. You no longer have to put up with that compromise between having a ride height that's jacked up a bit and a ride quality that's too stiff because it's got to account for the body control with that higher centre of gravity. No more is that a compromise. This car hits a real sweet spot. It rides well, it steers well, and it handles well. I mean, it's one of the sportier SUVs, luxury or otherwise, that you're going to drive. And the driveline's superb. The automatic does the job as you would expect, but it's teamed to this new 2-litre twin-turbo 4-cylinder diesel, which honestly goes like a petrol, feels like a petrol, drinks fuel like a diesel. So best of all worlds, really. And that's the trick. This is the car that brings all those technologies together and really shows the world what a luxury SUV for under $80,000 can be. It sticks with the things that made the SUV concept a hit in the first place and builds on that with quality and finesse. And that's why it's Drive's luxury SUV under $80,000 for 2017.